Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa. Today is an episode of Down the Rabbit Hole talking about NFTs with the Rabbit Hole Gang. We bring Braden Pollock on the Rabbit Hole show for the first time, along with me, Drew, Josh, Jess, and Morgan. We talk a ton about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, a bit about our new project, and we do veer off course a little and talk about potato chips and ice cream for a minute. But for real, it's all good. It's an amazing time in the digital asset space. We're right in the middle of everything, and we couldn't be more excited. And this show covers a bunch of ground and was a lot of fun. So come on, jump down the rabbit hole with us right now here on DomainSherpa.
It don't matter what you say, there ain't no way that you messing with my team today. It don't matter what you do, I will not lose.
What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka J On. I'm the host and producer of DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today is Down the Rabbit Hole. So, as we say here on DomainSherpa, all roads lead to domains. In the reverse, our work in domains leads us down the rabbit hole on all sorts of things all the time. We've really been seeming to spend most of our time lately in NFTs, crypto, and other related digital assets, all kind of falling under that umbrella. So this is a pretty natural thing for us. But the further we go, the more we get in. So this is a down the rabbit hole, and we are going to focus today on NFTs, NFT unit, NFTs nuts. You know what it is. Anyway, I got like this panel are my peoples, and y'all know who everybody is. So I'm not going to do a whole ton of introductions, but I got to at least do my AKAs. I'm going to start as usual to my right, and then I'm going to go around the horn. I don't know if I did the motion right. I always get kind of messed up with the direction. Anyway, first things first, I got my boy Braden Pollock, aka Tony Stark, aka Benjamin Button. You know, I used to also have the aka Mark Zuckerberg, but I think I'm going to pull that one, man, because I don't know I don't know that Zuck is like, I don't think he's up to your standards. You know what I'm saying? So I might even have to pull a different one out of the hat. But for right now, aka Tony Stark, aka Benjamin Button, my man lives that clean vegan lifestyle. Literally looks younger every time I see him. And he's got a bathroom full of marble and an office full of rich mahogany. He's a big deal. What's up, man? He just recently jumped into NFTs. I mean, he is a domain OG, one of the best in the business, as those of you who know. But he recently bought a Bored Ape, as well as a handful of other NFTs. So he is now down the rabbit hole with us. So this is his first time on this show. So I'm super excited about that. And happy to have you in the rabbit hole gang with us, man. What's happening?
I'm glad to be here, but I'm still represented with my media options.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Hey, don't get it twisted for everybody. We say it all the time. Like, we just announced mint.io, that sale today. I mean, we're active. Like, we probably have one of our best months. Beginning of the year was crazy, but we've had one of our best months this past month, and we're knocking shit out. I mean, Drew, Chris, team. I mean, Matthew, like everybody. I mean, it's a lot of don't sleep. We're not we got a lot going on, but we have not forgotten our mission. So, because if I did, then Drew he'd have to take the microphone from me, and I don't want to have to go through that whole thing. I told him today I don't want to have to change my media options email to something else. You know what I mean? I got too much shit tied to it now. So
yeah, except my media options hoodie does have an NFT on it, right? That's what this is, isn't it?
Well, eventually, it's not yet. But,
it may be soon.
All right. So with that, let's keep it moving. Down bottom right, we got my boy Morgan Linton, aka Morgan Freeman, aka Mark Cuban, aka Calvin Klein, aka Rick Deckard. So he's got a lot of good AKAs. The Calvin Klein thing. I mean, Morgan's been on the show now before, so I'm not going to go a ton into it, but he is the CEO of Bold Metrics. San Francisco
COO. I corrected
fair. He's the COO of Bold Metrics, which is a San Francisco-based startup that their technology is all about finding the right fit when buying clothes online. Saves a lot of waste, because we went through this the last time I introed you. There is a ton of waste in the clothing industry that people don't realize, returns and stuff. I mean, and for the amount of water and materials that go into even making a shirt and the supply chain, and then you try it on, you don't like it because it doesn't fit, you send it back, it ends up in a landfill, and it is terrible for the environment. So they are working on revolutionizing the way that you actually order your clothes online to make sure it fits properly, so that you have less of those issues and obviously more efficiencies. And they're working with some huge companies and doing some great stuff. And he's also involved on our NFT side. I love the background, dude. What's up? Welcome. You know what I mean?
Zoo.
So the zoo, let's get it. Going ape shit, doing ape shit. So yeah, so that's what's up. And I love the background, man. Let's get it. We'll talk a little bit about the zoo in here. You know, this is the NFT show. All right, and then our fearless leader, Andrew Rosner, aka Morpheus, aka Jean Galt, aka the Dirk Diggler domain names. every time. And you know, so that's what's up. I'm not going to go through much to talk about with Drew, other than, you know, we've been getting busy. Like I said, domains are popping. We dropped our NFT this week. I mean, that has been amazing. And obviously, like, on some, you know, just incredible things going on there. I mean, we're not going to dedicate this whole show to talking about that. I think we'll probably do something next week. We'll bring on some of the team to really get into that, because I think there's a lot that, you know, we'd love to speak on. And
yeah, a lot of learning.
Yeah, a lot of
learning.
messaging and a lot of cool stuff. I mean, but it's going to be amazing. We're just getting started on that journey. And you know, getting it released and out the door was obviously a big milestone for us. We've been working on it for months, and to finally get the you know, the NFT launched, and to have the reception be what it be, just incredible. And the roadmap and our plans and the energy and everything we've got going on, and the potential and the opportunity there is fucking awesome. And I can't wait to share more with people and then actually execute on the vision and the plan. I mean, we got a lot of shit cooking, and we're working. So that's going to be great. We're going ape shit, doing ape shit. All right, so that's good with that. So let's keep it moving. So on next to my boy Jess Chura, aka Jess Curry, aka Jess Starberry, aka Nick's Tape. So as those of you who know, Jess is mad heavy in NFTs. He is also, I believe, Gargamel from the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Don't say that you heard that from me, but it is very possible. He is a ninja when it comes to the NFT space, and he is that dude. Very happy to have him in the mix with us. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Yeah, thank you. Blessed to be here. Really appreciate you having me on the Rabbit Hole Gang podcast. I love chatting up NFTs, so nothing like it.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Let's go. Rabbit Hole Gang, make the joint go bang. All right. So, and then last but certainly not least, over to my left, I got my boy Josh Reason, aka Bjorn Borg, aka Harry Kane, aka Super Bowl Paper Hands. I'm just playing, man. You know what I'm saying? So don't sell that ape, dog. Don't sell that ape. We're gonna make some things happen. Anyway, that's a little bit of inside baseball for y'all. Y'all know what the deal is with Josh, part of the team with us on all our podcasts and just making dope shit happen with us. It's all good. And that's the squad. So, you know, so these aren't even guests. I mean, we're just all a bunch of co-hosts just here talking what we talk about. And like I said, today we're going to get down the rabbit hole of NFTs. The space is crazy. There is so much wild stuff going on. And so where do we want to start? Right. So right now we are kind of in what looks like we were in this sort of bear market, right? And now we're into this bull market, especially when we're talking about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So, which I think is a good segue. You know, again, we're not going to we'll talk some zoo, but, you know, not to make this whole show about that. But the Bored Ape Yacht Club's popping right now. I mean, what do you guys think is driving that? I mean, it's like, you know, we saw a little dip in ETH, but now, you know, it's bubbling back. I mean,
52.880.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things at hand here. So, you know, I've said it for months that I think that the market, you know, is driven by sentiment and some of the macro NFT stuff. And then the second factor is just the ETH price. And ETH price go up, market go down in terms of ETH.
mm-hmm.
In terms of US dollars, I don't think we've only really seen one bear market so far. And, you know, that was whatever it was, pretty short dip. You know, they rebounded and, you know, ETH price, you know, in terms of ETH price, we saw another sort of bear market for a few weeks here, you know, 4-6 weeks. And, you know, now we're right back to all-time highs. And I think that, you know, we can take a little bit of credit that, you know, it was either a cause or a correlation that, you know, we literally dropped our press release that came out with Variety Magazine, you know, about our partnership with Timbaland. And it was like literally that night, the market just started running, especially on the hip hops. The hip hops actually led the market. You know, we went from like a 60 floor all the way to, I think we're at basically 100 floor now, except Josh. Josh is the weak link.
Come on, man. I feel bad enough that I called him paper balls or Super Bowl paper hands, man. Like I'm literally going to be, I was ready to message him in the chat and be like, man, you know, I love you, man. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. You know what I'm saying? Like Josh.
He's just gonna raise the price when you guys want to buy the hip hop.
I'm good. I'm just rolling in my dollar bill. You guys carry on.
No, listen, we all got our own strategies. You know, Josh has got his, and you know that's just what it is.
Paper Hands Josh over here he is a day trader. Like he's all about turn and burn. He moves whether it's domain names or NFTs. He's just rolling, right?
Yep.
And he's picking up profits on every transaction. So
here's the thing. I mean, he works, right? He's in front of the computer doing his thing. Like, you know, he puts in the time, and it's like
he's trading right now.
I know. Exactly.
True.
And you know,
he can't see his hands.
That's the job, man. That is the job, and it's all good. And
if you want his attention, you got to say, "Show me your hands."
Put him up.
Look, I think the bull run part of it has been like good sentiment from Ape Fest that, like, especially on the mutant side, that, you know, one mutant equals one ape, and there was a lot of inclusion on that end, at least from like my perspective. And then there's the strong use of IPs, whether it comes to music or writing, that, you know, it's like a good use case of the Bored Ape Yacht Club brand. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, now they're dropping the game, and just like a good like combination of like the perfect storm, like good things for BAYC in general.
And I think you make a great point. You know, mutants were well sort of kind of taken care of during Ape Fest. You know, it was like that was the same ticket to the, you know, the events and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, having a mutant was real utility. So I think we've seen the mutants flying now. Actually, the mutants are flying even more than the apes, you know? So, you know, so
man,
for folks,
I mean, some of these mutant prices are crazy.
Yeah.
There's like somebody out there buying up all the red shirt and red hat mutants, and they're going for like 20 each.
Yeah.
And then somebody bought one for 100 ETH, a solid gold M2, 100 ETH. Another one for 90
like
ETH.
This use of the IP, like when it comes to music, has just been like we proved that, you know, you can take it and just like add another layer to the BAYC like brand in general. And now you see all like these celebrities popping up, like picking them up, like they understand like what we're trying to build as well.
Yeah. Well,
that's one of the most interesting things about all of this is that I think people talk about usage all the time, but let's be fair, like 95% of the usage is coming from one industry. It's, you know, it's like rappers buying apes to put in their music video. It's you guys doing what you did with Ape-In. I mean, think about all the people that are famous that have bought apes. Most of them they're artists. They're in the music industry.
Yes.
So I mean, it's like every single time someone apes in, it's, you know, there are athletes as well, but for the most part, it's people in the a lot of athletes.
Yeah, athletes from different sports, man. You know, one of the guys, you know, Nacho Figueroa, you know, is like a world-class polo player.
Yeah, that guy.
You know, and it's like, hell yeah, dude. You know what I mean?
He's got a cowboy ape, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It's awesome, you know? And you had actually Brandon McManus, who's a kicker for the Denver Broncos, just sold his ape for like 100 ETH or something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see.
It's really like de-risked though, like kind of to Jess's point, it's kind of de-risked Bored Ape Yacht Club out of any project now, honestly. And I know some people hate me saying this, but like more so than CryptoPunks, because by like leaps and bounds.
Close.
Because it's like
apes are flipping punks.
Really wondering like is there really utility here, right? And it's like you have Ape Fest where it's like, first off, all apes and mutants realized, okay, super utility to what I have. And then you have the stuff that we're doing, which is like, you know, really elevating the utility as far as using these for music. And I think it's de-risked. And now, you know, you compare it to any NFT project and suddenly Bored Apes is number one, because with CryptoPunks, nobody got any of those benefits. With any other project, it'll develop, but it's de-risked this. So it is really like the go-to when you look at an NFT with real utility.
The great flippening is coming.
Oh yeah,
flippening, baby. Yeah, so you know, because I agree. I mean, I think when you've got the, you know, you got CryptoPunks, and you know, the utility I think is limited because as a you know, as an avatar and as a character, you know, they're limited in general because they're so like kind of 8-bit. You know what I mean? And that's cool.
Well,
and
but look, I don't want to shit on the punks because it is still to this day, it is the flex, right?
Yeah,
like
Jay-Z uses a CryptoPunk, not a Bored Ape, as his PFP.
100%.
As a PFP, punks are the ultimate, ultimate flex. Yeah. And it's access, right? Because like we've talked about, a lot of the CryptoPunk holders are some of the biggest OGs in the NFT space. And so when you're, your CryptoPunk gives you access into the CryptoPunk discords and it's a different level of respect. And it's funny because now that we spend so much time online, there is a certain amount of like sort of, respect that you almost give to people based on what their avatar is, right? And it's like, oh, they got a punk.
Hell yeah.
And now there's the funks, which is some other shit, which we can talk about in a sec. But as we're talking about Bored Apes, so Braden, you aped in, right? So, and you were the one, the folks on the call, you're the most recent person to ape in. And I know you've been on the fence for a while. I know Morgan was kind of helping you try to kind of like we helped Tim, you know what I'm saying? The way we helped Timberland kind of ape in to where he, didn't, it was like sort of, what should I be doing? What should I be looking at? These are dope. Like, which is the one that I should get? And
Morgan told me back in May, he's like, look, I want to talk to you about these apes. You need to get one. And it was like, they're like $1,500 or something, like nothing. I was like, why do I want to spend $1,000 on a JPEG?
Yeah.
So it took a minute, but then I had to buy like, I don't know, I think I bought like 100 ETH. Yeah, or more maybe. And then went down that rabbit hole. I bought an ape and then I bought some other stuff. So
what else you get?
I got a
vampire.
What's that?
Vampires, sneaky vampires.
Yo, all right. So
lazy lion. He's got a gold background lion.
Wait, real quick. I got to give a huge shout out to the sneaky vampires, man. SVS, that community is the fucking truth. Like, dude, we had our Discord as it was kicking off, and we're down with some of the vamps, and like they came into our Discord at one point, into the Ape-In Discord, like a fucking crew. They rolled through and helped get the thing popping off, like mad cool. And one dude's like, yo, don't, and there's more of us coming. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like they literally rolled in like a gang. And, and I love the SVS project. I've talked about this. Like I'm going to buy one, like literally like today. I tried to get in on the mint, I didn't get in cause they had there was obviously a lot of demand initially. Not only do I dig the art, I think it's, cartoony, but really cool, but their roadmap is dope. And just, everything from how tight and well executed their smart contract was all the way through to how they're rolling out the rest of their stuff. I just super, super dig a lot of the vibe there. I mean, and their team is just the shit, man. Huge shout out.
Such a great team. Yeah. And, from Mig, the artist who drew, if anyone has a captain's hat in Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mig drew that. He's drawn a lot of really legit stuff for BAYC, to Wolf, who did the smart contract and all that. It is one of the most polished, well done projects on the planet.
Yeah. Huge shout out, man. SVS all day, baby. So Braden, but so yeah, man. So, and the ape you got is dope. I know you were kind of trying to decide, so Billy will throw up your ape right now. Bam. So everybody that's watching can see what that is.
There you go. Trippy hat.
Trippy hat. And you did good,
I'm
man.
jealous.
So,
I've been wanting a trippy hat for a minute. And it's like every time I go to buy one, it's like, oh, but I could get another hip hop. And I just, I'm a hip hop fan for life. So it's like, oh.
Yeah. So I kind of, when I got in, and I was kind of agnostic to which trait, but I wanted, I wasn't going to get in on the floor, I wasn't going to get in at the top either. Right. So I wanted to get in kind of midway. And so I was willing to spend some money, but I was looking for not only a good solid trait, but I also had to get a deal. Right. So, we just kept looking and I was making offers. And so I was, I'd be negotiating with somebody, and then, I'd be off whatever it was. I was offering like 70 ETH or something. And, he wanted 75, we go back and forth, and they'd sell it for 78, right? Somebody else. So, there's a few false starts trying to get a deal. Then I found this one, and this one was just a bin, man. I just pulled the trigger on it because it was a solid deal. So
yeah, well, it's funny because I think for a lot of us, coming from domains, it's like you naturally want to negotiate and and do all that stuff. And we talked about this on other shows. So we have some of the other rabbit hole gang folks like James Booth and and Jack Cal on the show. Those guys are used to negotiating big digital asset deals all the time. Some of how James is constantly wheeling and dealing inside the Rare Ape Discord, and just that Josh is part of that whole type of vibe too. You know what I mean? And it's but sometimes you just got to pull the trigger, man, because if you wait too long and you get cute, it's gone. And especially in a market like this where, it's popping off, it's, a lot of risk. If you see a particular one and this is what I think is interesting too about the Bored Apes is because it's when you start talking about leveraging the IP, specific apes can be used for specific things. So it's like, you know, you got to be careful. I mean, even like with Tim, the ape that he bought, it's like so perfect for him, you know. And part of when we helped him grab it, it was like, you know, I actually had to grab it for him because it was about to, like, the sale was about to end, and you don't know what's going to happen with it. And all of a sudden, if it disappears, then it's gone for good. And it's like, yeah, there's other apes, but that one is so perfect for him that it's like you miss that opportunity, and then that's it. And you know, so it was like, you know, just certain things worked out, but sometimes you just got to be down to pull the trigger, man. You can't dick around. But
like Drew says, right? Like, could be off the market forever, right? Like, you miss that ape, and then it's like, well, your second favorite ape could be really far from your first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, man. And then some of these, it's just, but yeah, the leveraging the IP. I mean, this goes back to what Jess was saying, like kind of the different pieces that, you know, you had a lot of stuff, like a lot of really positive news that's been coming out. You know, I do feel like, you know, we were part of that, and allowing people to start to visualize, because I think we're also going from, I know us personally, you know, we spent months, you know, kind of in collector mode, right? And in the space, and, you know, we've been in digital assets and NFT platforms and investing on the sort of that side of things for a while. But it was like, you know, actually buying NFT, you know, you buy your first NFT. It's funny watching people go through that process for the first time, because we've all kind of been there from a collector standpoint, you know. And then you start loading up your wallet and all that stuff. And then, you know, but we all got to the point where we're like, look, like, we've had this idea, at least for us with the music stuff, about, you know, creating this record label, and it's like, all right, let's go. And, you know, you could always take more time and more planning, but things move so fast. It's like, you know, once we partnered with Timberland and B Club and Gary and Clem and the whole team, it was like, all right, now it's time to go. And, you know, but the idea of kind of shifting from collector to creator. And I think there's also some really neat stuff happening with different apps and platforms to allow people to better do that stuff too, which is also super cool. So, but yeah, man, the wave is coming. I mean, and the leveraging of the IP, it's like, this is going to be a real special time. And I don't think it gets better than the BAYC. Have we clarified for the CryptoPunks kind of, it's a limit on how much external revenue you can make leveraging the IP?
I think it's 60 grand. I think anything beyond 60 grand, you have to get permission from them, and you owe them royalties. What the details on that are, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 60 grand.
Pretty strict
But
contract.
that really is the primary difference, I think. I mean, let's set the artwork aside for a second, because there's far better art out there, right? There's some really amazing art. But you know, the difference with the IP is that the punks, while it's a flex, cannot get the traction that the apes will continue to get because of exposure, just merely exposure. 100%. So when you've got music and you've got, you know, apps, and you've got, you know, Arizona iced tea and whatever, you know, when you start seeing it like on the shelves in the grocery store on a bag of chips, like, you're never going to see a punk on a bag of chips.
Yeah.
You know, so just that kind of exposure is going to keep driving the value. And then, you know, we've been talking about music, which is what's happening now, and Ape-In and all that. But what's really coming, I think, is NFT apparel. Like, that's going to be huge, because that's more meaningful than all these other product placement things. Is just being able to put it on a hoodie, or put it on a pair of sweats, or put it on t-shirts. You know, that's going to be huge. And even Nike has also said, Nike is coming out with NFT apparel.
Yeah.
Right. So you can have these big companies like Nike, whether they license or start buying NFTs, can run these like huge, you know, collections. And we call it merch now, because it's like, you know, the artist will, you know, Bored Ape or whoever will, you know, launch some hats, but like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's when Nike throws out a whole collection.
Imagine like the Nike ad that's going to feature Bored Apes, and then come out with like a Bored Ape grip of Nike gear. You know, real quick on the merch thing, huge shout out to D Farmer, his Ape Aesthetics brand. He just pushed out a new t-shirt, which I copped yesterday. So,
send me a link. What?
Yeah, send me a link. I want to buy that immediately.
Hell yeah.
It's super dope. It's got like the Ape Aesthetics thing here, and then in the back, it's like a 3 apes.
Yeah, where do I find that?
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil jam, based on like, you know, like, it's really dope. So I'll send you the link. I'll actually put it up
during the show.
I'll put it up on the page.
I see it here. Too. I got it.
Yeah, so it's dope. I got one yesterday.
Put the link in the chat.
Yeah, well, I'll put the link on the site when we post the show too.
Yeah, D Farmer, just
we're filming this
before
the show
man.
publishes.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll get it there.
Oh, I see it. All right, I'm buying it now as we chat.
Put it in the chat for the group.
I think when the ape token
I'll put it in
drops
the
is when
chat.
we really see like the next layer of inclusion, because people without apes will be able to purchase it and then spend that on things that are within the ecosystem. So that's where the partnerships really come into play, when like Bored Ape Yacht Club, let's like you said, partners with Nike. If you can purchase one of those Nike apparel with the brand on it with ape token for a cheaper price at a discount using that currency that's within the BAYC brand, I mean, it's just it benefits everyone in general, and it like people who don't have apes have a chance to kind of be a part of what's happening.
Well, and I think that's a great point. Let's talk about the ape token, right? So we've got the roadmap 2.0 for the BAYC, right? By the way, I think we might title this show like All That in a Bag of Chips. You know, I'm ready to get ape chips. You know what I'm saying? Like BAYC, salt and vinegar is kind of my jam. Big shout out to Voodoo chips. Those are dope too. Funky Fusion. I eat a lot of chips, but and that's one of my problems is why I can't be skinny. But Drew put me onto that hot shit that I had to buy off of Amazon, which was they were like some like, you know, where they were from, like Germany or something like that. Like what's the you know what I'm talking about, Drew?
Yeah, it's oh man, I mean, I eat
The
these things all
Fresca,
the time. Yeah, it's chips frisch, which basically just means fresh chips. But these are like, you know, this is literally like gas station chips in Germany, right? It's like, you know, whatever it is, 60 cents for a bag or whatever the hell it is, right? But it's got the Hungarian, they call it Ungarisch, which is German for Hungarian. And it's the Ungarisch flavor and, you know, paprika. Oh my God. It's the most addictive thing in my life. Like
Paprikash.
Yeah, like
that's how you say paprika in Hungarian.
Okay. See that?
I had a Hungarian girlfriend.
Yo, check it out. That's dope. Yeah, they're legit. And so I had to order them from Amazon. I ordered like a couple bags. They were gone in like a day. You know,
talking about a rabbit hole.
This is what
a rabbit hole.
This is what the rabbit hole gang does, man. We put everybody onto all sorts of dope shit. That's what part of even what we're doing with Ape-In, right? It's like, yo, we want to build a community of people who appreciate cool, dope shit, you know, all around the NFTs. Obviously create a ton of opportunity like on the artist side, on the ape side, and everything else that we're doing. But, you know, like we like to just talk about cool stuff. There's stuff that we think is cool. And it just so happens to be the same kind of stuff that a lot of people think is cool. So it's like, just vibe with us. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's all good. We're all a bunch of bored apes just trying to chill and like, you know, just do what we do. So, so this is, you know, we might end up down a rabbit hole about Hungarian potato chips, man. Let's get it. They're delicious.
I'm hungry for
fucking
chips.
delicious.
I just bought my shirt, by the way.
I want to get you some.
Get you some. Here, use this affiliate link if you're going to buy them. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll tell you my other thing about on Amazon for food, and then we'll keep talking about NFTs, is you can buy the Lucky Charms marshmallows just by themselves from Amazon. So like that was like some shit that like that fucking.
Oh, no, hold up. That's got to get edited out. Like, listen.
Oh, I know.
Lucky Charms. I was on vacation in Nantucket. I was like probably 8 years old, and I wasn't allowed to eat sugary cereals like at home. But on vacation, they were like, "All right, y'all can pick out, you know, whichever sugary cereal you want and eat that this week on vacation." So I picked out Lucky Charms. I ate my first bowl of Lucky Charms and I puked. Listen, I completely puked. Like the whole kitchen was like a vomit sea.
It was a rainbow.
And, yeah, it was a straight up Lucky Charms rainbow vomit ocean. And like from that point forward, I can't even literally hear Lucky Charms.
But I'm not talking about the Lucky. See, the problem with Lucky Charms, and this is the problem, is that the oat aspect of the cereal is terrible. You know what I'm saying? The non-marshmallow portion of the cereal is the worst. But you can actually order the marshmallows in bulk. So like I went through a phase.
No, nobody should do that.
I made my dentist so much money. I made the dentist so much money because I would get the marshmallows and I'd throw them on ice cream, like vanilla ice cream, and I would just dump all the a bunch of the marshmallows. I'm telling you, like I apologize to anybody who's gonna then go down that rabbit hole, because it's like, you know, once you're hooked, you're like, oh, you gotta hear them marshmallows, dog, because it's like, you know.
So JT was actually ordering in the Lucky Charms marshmallows in bulk from his dentist.
Exactly. That's what it was like. I got to go Tuesday and get a fucking crown, man. Like, you know, take care of your teeth, everybody. Floss every day. Although, you know, like, cause it's like, you know, man, you only get one set. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. We went down the food rabbit hole. Enough.
Nobody listens to JT.
While
we
we
have a
talking about that, I
disclaimer?
registered HungarianChips.com. So
there you go. Boom. And that's
if
for the
anybody
domain
wants-
maxis out there. There's some domain
I'm
content.
bringing the
for y'all.
domains back into it.
We were talking about cultural validations also from like the financial and like stuff like right now. You see JP Morgan Equity Research is adding NFT Weekly to their financials note. And the first thing is Bored Ape Yacht Club that they're going to be highlighting. So like this kind of stuff, like we expect it as people who hold these tokens, but this like press matters. So to the public eye, like these kinds of things are like big validations.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I had people when I posted on Facebook, I was like, yo, I hadn't posted in there forever, but I had people, I said, hey, we're doing this NFT thing. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, I saw they actually highlighted your stuff on Coinbase in the email, but it wasn't us, it was Kingship. You know what I mean? And I was like, I know. I was like, oh, that's cool. But
how are you going to do that?
But again, it's the idea though of like, and obviously Coinbase is a natural segue, for them to get into NFTs like they're doing. But yeah, I mean, I think as you have the bigger financial companies and just the, as it just becomes more and more, I mean, you realize how small of a space we're in when you try to explain to people, what NFTs are all about, what our project's all about, and I'm like, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but like, this is what it is. And it's like, once people get it, they get it. But, and for some folks, it's easier. But, yeah, I mean, the mainstream adoption, I mean, that's why I think it's really important what we're doing, right? We're trying to elevate the apes as the artists, right? It's in a lot of ways, who is the ape and who is the artist. We want it to be consistent and obviously talented and dope, which it will be. And it is, for everything we're doing. But but it's the idea that the apes themselves are the ones that, could become the stars. And like, that's the piece we're trying to like promote. And then as that happens, they'll only get more visibility, and people will be more interested, and they'll go up in value, which is great for the entire community. You know what I mean? So it's like apes together strong, like that shit's real. And, but yeah, the visibility on all fronts is obviously super key. There's just so much of that I think is, at play and important here, but yeah. So, yeah, mainstream coverage of all shapes and sizes. And we're just seeing more and more of that. When we dropped the press release with Tim about about Ape-In, the list, when they sent the email along to say, hey, here are all the press hits, it was like pages long, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that kind of exposure is important for what this is, to the extent that this is going to continue to grow and evolve. And, NFTs are going to become ubiquitous in everybody's life because of some, we were just talking about this today. Web3 is legitimately dope and super useful. You know what I'm saying? So, when you compare Web3 to Web2, Web3 is so much better for so many things. And, the NFTs are so tied into that, but also give people an opportunity for creative and content and just cool shit and like different things. And like, the possibilities are endless, limited literally by our imagination, creativity, and, some of that kind of stuff, and especially then you segue into the actual metaverses themselves, which is a whole nother thing. And obviously Facebook changing their name to Meta. I mean, it's a fucking wave, and it's not just, oh, this is a trend based on just some people that are buying JPEGs like Beanie Babies. You know what I mean? And that's where it's important that people understand the full scope of what is going on. And, which makes us so excited to be in this shit doing what we're doing, because it's like, we're doing shit that's never been done before in such a cool way. And there's so much more we can do,
Yeah. The next big onboarding wave is going to be stuff like the Coinbase marketplace, where they create the bridge where people can buy with fiat, not have to worry about setting up the wallet. They still have custody of the NFT. And then they can focus on the more difficult stuff, like setting up the MetaMask and like the crypto end. Like being able to swipe a credit card on these marketplaces is going to be really what helps sell NFTs to like the larger audience.
Yeah. Right now there's way, way, way too much friction.
There's
too many different disparate tools that we use. And it's like, it has to be like, click this button and put in your Visa card.
Yeah.
Like when that happens, when somebody stitches everything together, when you can look at the traits and you can, look at the marketplace and just buy it with your credit card, because right now I'm sure there are tons of people that have the money that try to buy it, and they're like, I have no clue what's a MetaMask, what is it, like it's too much right now.
The only bridge right now is Nifty Gateway, and like you can swipe your credit card, but then the fees are high. So like all of that needs to get cut down to where like the experience is very, very like you said, frictionless.
Yeah. Shout out to MoonPay. You know, they're trying to do some of that stuff too. But go ahead, Drew.
Oh,
yeah, no, I had dinner last night with a good friend of mine here who was one of the lead designers at Apple. And, you know, we were talking precisely about this. And he's actually getting involved with a couple of like major projects and companies in the space at a pretty high level to just literally specifically take everything that he's learned through 20 something years at Apple and integrate that into the UX of the whole Web3 environment and you know, making it so, you know, I can easily onboard my mom, right? That's like sort of the measure. So I think, you know, look, I think, you know, let's keep in mind, like, you know, I sold NFT.com in January for what was seemingly a good price, only to be offered 10x that a few weeks later. And the reason I didn't do that, you know, I didn't get that money in January is because in January, nobody gave a shit. Nobody even knew what an NFT was. Cryptograph, one of the, you know, the company I invested in, we did a Paris Hilton NFT and it sold for like 25 grand or something, right? That was the first NFT Paris Hilton ever released, right? We did an Ashton Kutcher NFT. That thing sold for like 10 grand, right? Like nobody knew what an NFT was. It didn't, and that was 9 months ago, 10 months ago. Like, so, you know, it's all brand new, but I agree that as we make that easier, this is the path to onboarding 1 billion people to the blockchain, to crypto, right? The NFTs are the best Trojan horse that crypto has ever found. You know, it's because it's a cultural movement as opposed to a financial movement. Most people don't care about finance. They just want to go do their job, earn their pay, put the money in the bank or put it in their savings account or put it in, you know, some, you know, Roth IRA or 401k or index fund. They don't want to worry about it, nor should they have to. And unfortunately, in the environment we're in, they do need to worry about it, but that's another conversation. But getting it to a point where those people, you know, can easily get onboarded because of cultural reasons, music, art, you know, community. These are the things that are going to drive 1 billion people into crypto. And when we get there, like, you know, to say we're going to change the world is an understatement. We are going to completely reshape the way that the world works.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's like a trend. I always tell people it's not a trend, it's a foundational change. Different things. There's trends come and go. Foundational changes change the way the world works.
It's a paradigm shift for sure.
Yeah.
And if this continues, right? If this shift continues the way it has been, all the people that got in now, when there's tons of friction, that like figured it all out, they got through it and got some apes or got some good quality NFTs, got into some good projects. When the friction goes away, that's when the value is going to go up. And so all of us that got in early are going to be sitting pretty.
Well, it's like buying domains back in the day. You know, Josh, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
All right.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think you're absolutely, obviously I agree with everything y'all are saying. And I think it's going to just get extra cool. Cause I mean, I've had on board a handful of folks with the release of our NFT. You know, I've had a bunch of friends reach out and say, hey, you know, I've never bought an NFT before. I want to buy yours. It's like, all right, cool. You know, and I'm trying to walk them through the process to the point that I almost have like a checklist now, you know, of like, okay, here's what you do. Go to Coinbase or FTX.us and create an account. And then you got to put cash in that account. And then you got to convert the cash to ETH. Then you got to create a MetaMask wallet. Move the fucking ETH from the exchange to your MetaMask wallet. Then go to OpenSea. And I got one in my home. And then I'm like, then connect. Might as well go through the rest of it. So connect your MetaMask wallet.
And wait a week, right?
I was going to say waiting.
That's the challenge. And that's where it's been, extra crazy too. Well, I guess, yeah. And then it's like connect your wallet to our site. And then once you connect the MetaMask wallet to the site, you mint. And then once you mint, then go to OpenSea, and that's where you can actually see it. And
by then the ape is sold.
Yeah, well, I'm even talking about just for our thing. And like, and in the process, it is very much like you said, like the friction is insane, but people are still doing it, right? There's still millions and, overall billions of dollars, like, being spent on all of like, on NFTs and invested into the space. And everybody recognizes this is and we're way, way early. And it will get easier, and as this develops, it's just cool for us. I mean, for me, I'm just so excited that we're like I keep saying, we're like in the eye of the storm, and it does feel like, we're way early, and some things are going to change. There'll be winners, there'll be losers, but I think that this is going to reshape so much, and it's just awesome to be right here in the fucking mix of it, right? At the crest of the tidal wave. But yeah, so what do we think? I guess so. We talked a lot about Bored Apes, we talked about mutants, we talked about sort of this little bull market that that's happening now, especially around apes. Is it just limited to apes? I mean, are there other projects that are kind of popping right now, like beyond Bored Ape Yacht Club? Like, what are because for me, how are Cool Cats doing? What are some of the other things that we should be kind of, that y'all paying attention? Anything else? I've been so heads down on everything we're doing that I've literally had no time to pay attention to almost anything else. What else is good?
Everything's been bullish since
really?
They went bullish, basically.
Well, like, what else are you getting into at the moment?
I'm not getting into anything because I've kind of slimmed it down to 10 NFTs, like from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
How'd you clear out some of the junk in your wallet? I looked at my hot wallet the other day. I think I was sharing my screen, and Drew was like, "You have a lot of garbage in your wallet. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is half this shit?" You know what I mean?
I still have like hundreds and hundreds of things in hidden. Like,
I probably need to hide a lot of stuff.
There, but like the amount of stuff that I minted or like I bought on the aftermarket that I had to just I just wanted to get liquid and use all of those funds to be able to buy things that I actually think will like
the blue chips, right? I mean, that's the thing. I think when we talk a lot about that, I think that is absolutely the approach. It's like we talk the same shit about domains.
By the way, I think that's actually part of what's driving the super bull market in the blue chips, is that I think a lot of people are bailing out of some of the lower level projects and FOMOing into the blue chips, like before they can't get in anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, because there, when we saw over the summer, there were so many projects that came out, and, a lot of people made a lot of money really fast, and then they bailed or just stopped, they just gave up on it. It was like, kind of, that's it, and there was unfortunately a lot of that kind of stuff. And then we saw this like sort of more recent thing, like Mechaverse, which was one that I was hype about initially based on some of the initial art and stuff. And then, when it launched, everything flew, and I was like, I'm not hype on this anymore. I think this is a disaster waiting to happen. And that's exactly what happened then. It like got, so it was like a big balloon that popped. And then also too, I think as that project got shined some light on it, it was like, okay, maybe it's not as dope. The art all looks the same. The shit looks actually kind of cheesy. At least that was my opinion. At first, and I think they did a good job of showing just enough to get people excited, but not so much to let people know exactly what the deal was. And I think the founders too, they had some beef with one of their like either designers or devs, and they looked like, kind of like, I think that's also too, when you're investing in people as much as you're investing in some of these projects or in the art and stuff like that as well. We saw some recent shit that just happened like yesterday where, some like projects, the FUD project or whatever, and then people were, it turns out art chick's not a chick, and like, there's a whole lot of craziness. I don't know how much you guys are following that stuff, but
right. So tell me the story there.
I think art chick is a chick, but it's just the connections with
I think it's a dude. It's some dude named Tanner. It's like literally a guy, and that but I think this goes to
T-Mass and art chick are the same people.
No, I don't think. Well, was his name Tanner? I don't know, dude. But I guess so. This
Maybe
guy,
he identifies as a woman.
And you know what? And that's fine. But don't pretend to be, like he's like, I would feel better. And I don't know why. And maybe this is just me, but like, I'd feel better with somebody like, identifying online, like via an avatar and stuff, obviously as an ape, as an elephant, whatever, but pretending to be a girl when you're a dude. And then like, almost trying to do that for engagement purposes is weird to me. You know what I'm saying? I think if somebody is actually like identifies as a woman, like for real, okay, cool. Like, that's a different thing altogether. But pretending to be, sort of like, it almost be like you're pretending to be somebody else completely.
It's not weird. It's like I almost want to say it's clever. It's just like that's a clever way of getting engagement. I know
that's fair. Maybe, and then maybe that's
But the thing is, there's truth to it. There's truth to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. And it there's if there's 1,000 people in the NFT community and 999 of them are males, do you think that the female will stand out?
For sure. Yeah. So real quick, let me give the breakdown for this is as I understand it. Now, keep in mind, I've been so heads down on our project, but I did see some of this drama and I thought it was kind of interesting. You basically had this one dude, T-Moss or whatever, who came up with a project and called like the FUD project. A bunch of people bought into it. And then he like legit like rugged everybody. And then it turned out like, that all the ETH either went to him or to Art Chick, who already has a pretty bad reputation in the space. Somebody tweeted and they're like, yo, she's literally like running a rug incubator at this point or something. I was like, oh shit. And then I'm like, why do people keep investing in this stuff? Like acting like just because you're early doesn't mean you're good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're a good person. It doesn't even mean that you're necessarily talented just because you were early. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but yet, we do put a lot of sort of stock in people because they were in 30 days before somebody else. And I think that's one of the downsides to this being so nascent, so early, and so things moving so fast that it feels like, oh, I was here in April. So it's like somebody else that like got put on in June. Like, well, whoa, you were way after me, bro. Like that's like 2 years in NFT time. And, and I think that's where I think what's going to start to happen too is
a crown just sold for 225, Drew. Whoa.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Yo, let's make something happen, man. So anyway, all right, just to close. So hey, real quick. So this is what I was saying. So basically, dude, rugged
Which
everybody.
crown is it? Is it special?
Sorry, JT. Sorry, bro.
Not only that, it's like the whole follower
that's
count
breaking
thing.
news. That's good to share.
No,
like
that is good. We'll talk about that.
Trust people with like a high follower count, and like they kind of just like blindly trust them. It's like some of them have like 50,000 followers, and it's like there's not even 50,000 active like NFT traders like on OpenSea right now. It's like you really have to be careful. And these are the same people who would trust someone on like Instagram with like 100,000 followers that's just like shilling something. It's like it's gonna happen. It's natural, but you have to make sure that you build the right stuff and you direct them to the right stuff.
And that's one thing, and this is not to shill or pump our own shit, but like that's one thing I love about Ape-In. Like we've got our community, and the way that we did it is like, no bullshit, no bots, no fake shit. It was all so legit and so organic.
No influencer. Well,
yeah, nothing. I mean, it was literally like
Timbaland, but he's in the project.
Timbaland, no influencer.
But he's not an influencer. His fame
but
is not just.
Go out to like, we didn't go out to like, influencers.
No, his fame is based on his talent and his accomplishments, not just being somebody that could tell people to go do shit. You know what I'm saying? The idea, like,
he's an influencer.
Influence is based on, I think, on the more authentic purposes. Anyway, long story sideways.
You didn't hire an external influencer.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. It was literally so organic and so fucking rock solid, and it's so dope. I mean, like I said, we're not going to talk too much about our stuff, but we do have some really cool shit coming up, like this, like the bars contest that we're about to come out with. So if you're a token holder, get to drop 16 on the ape shit beat. The winner, I think, is going to get an ETH or something like that, or a token. So it's like, we've got some really crazy cool shit to benefit that community, because I'll tell you, the Discord's popping. I love it, man. I mean, it's just so pure and so dope. Like,
that's what it's all about, right? The community, like some of the stuff last night, there were some people on our Discord last night that were saying like, I don't talk in many Discords. I'm kind of shy, but like, I love music. And like, I feel like I can talk here. Like, I feel like you're my people. And it's neat because like, it's created a very different community where you have people that there's plenty of, I'm on a bunch of Discords, and there's plenty of Discords where you're talking about NFTs and NFT prices and this, but it kind of goes back to what Drew was saying about like the foundational change here is that now it's not about necessarily the people that are into finance, the people that are into culture. And I feel like our Discords where a lot of that's coming together, where the conversation isn't all about NFTs. The conversation is about music and about being creative and about collaborating together. I think that's what's going to drive a lot of this forward.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. So
can I say one thing real quick, JT?
Yeah.
While we were on the topic of that rug pull situation.
Yeah. I was going to say we'll close that up anyway, but yeah.
It cannot be called a rug pull if someone says like, this is I'm doing this for fun, or this is a shit house, or like you like at that point, people just, it's like you said, people just need to stop buying those kind of projects.
Yeah, people have to stop buying dumb shit. I mean,
like, yeah, this is a meme token. I'm making fun of all you fucking idiots for buying it, and everyone's like, yeah, let's buy it. Let's fucking go. You're idiots. Don't be like, oh,
I hear you. No, look, I think without a doubt,
there is no roadmap. The guy told you there was no roadmap. He told you he was going to take your money. What are you doing?
I know. It's weird. I mean, that's I don't get it, but why people would invest in some of these, like a bunch of these to begin with. And then I guess the situation was for Art Chick, they basically were like, he's some dude who, created this online personality for engagement. It obviously has worked. He's run like a number of projects where basically rug pulled and people are still buying into some of this stuff or listening to what they have to say. And so I think that aspect of it is toxic and unfortunate. And I don't know a lot to speak on any of these people individually. I don't know them. But I would think like, people, you only have one reputation, and at the end of the day, if you're putting your, but that's why I also think, when you're doing these things under a personality that you've created, that is also like, I guess then, you can always just swap it like a new skin. Like that to me is like, and that's when shout out to Merlin, on the Metasource thing, because, he came out and said, look, I'm not going to be anonymous in this shit. Like, here's who I am. He's had success, obviously, outside of the space. That project I think was pretty cool. At the end of the day, I think he did, they did a good job with it. And I hope he continues to kind of keep cranking out value for the folks that, own them. And beyond that though, but I think him putting himself out there to say, hey, this is who I am. Like, I'm not anonymous. I think, it's almost like we're entering into a sort of a new phase where, you want it to be decentralized. You want the ability to be anonymous. We're existing in the metaverse. But I think as people are putting their actual real money into different things, like, they appreciate knowing who's who, and that, again, you're investing in teams and you're investing in people as much as you're investing in art and other stuff. And, we've seen that with our own projects. So all good stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't want to speak on
all that being said, the #1 project in the world, Bored Ape Yacht Club, is completely anonymous.
Yeah, I will say those guys have done an incredible job of staying under the radar.
I think that's a trip. I cannot believe that with all the publicity they've gotten, all the money they've made, that there's been nobody has doxed them. Nobody. That's crazy.
But here's what I'll say about the difference there is they also haven't rugged anybody, right? Like
they were also at Ape Fest and apparently on the yacht, and everyone afterwards was like, "What? They were on the yacht the whole time and we didn't know."
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. They're just like roaming around like random dudes, and and I think the thing about that though, and I've said this a million times, is they've just done such a fantastic job though of everything they've done. You know what I mean? To be so early and to be so right about the way they've done things is a huge credit to those guys. I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. I mean, there's a lot of projects that misstep, and that's expected in an area where everything is so new. And for them to be as early as they were and to do as much right, like with the way that they did the dog drop, and you could argue about the mutants and was it diluted, but now that the market is catching up, it's like it's what was expected, that there's room and people want to be in the room. So it was the earlier, more accessible entry point for people to be able to get into and then go to things like the events at Ape Fest and the concert and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, and again, their roadmap 2.0 is crazy. I mean, for the folks who haven't seen that, like check it out.
They're about to drop mobile game of the year. That thing's going to win the award for like straight up iOS, straight up. It's going to be the most popular game of the year on the phone.
Well, Jess is a gamer, and so are some of the other dudes on the team. So when that shit popped and we were all on like a Zoom, like they were just like erupted. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We were going nuts.
That's not even the blockchain game. They're also making like a straight up game that's going to like be like integrated into blockchain. That's the mobile game. So people aren't even ready for what's about to come.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So the roadmap 2.0 is crazy. They've already got so much like, tailwind. They're just going to keep rolling and doing. And that's also why for our project, for Ape-In, we're basically a derivative of the Bored Ape Yacht Club at the moment. People have asked this question a lot, like, oh, can we use mutants? Can we use dogs? Like, yeah, I mean, everything, our initial kickoff is really, although dogs as rappers, like with the doggos, isn't going to happen anytime soon, but mutants as artists and musical artists is definitely like, on the roadmap. And, and it is the Bored Ape universe. And eventually we'll look to expand into other NFTs too. I've said, I've got my Gutter Cat gang, my gold jacket, gold on gold everything crew. You'll see them pop up somewhere, man. But and I do like that project a lot too. When you talk about like, where I think that's still undervalued personally, but yeah, I think there's a reason that we've kind of sort of really focused on the Bored Apes, and for all the reasons that we've said, I mean, they are the, in my opinion, the gold standard. You can set aside the punks because it's different. And, you know, and the whole Bored Ape universe is where it's at. And we're going to continue to elevate that through what we're doing. So we've got about a couple minutes left, but so let's kind of do sort of around the room. So what else? You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Anything else we want to highlight? I mean, like I said, we're going to be super active. We got some great shit coming with Ape-In. I mean, that shit is just a fucking movement into itself, and we could not be more excited. But we'll probably devote a whole rabbit hole to that next week. But we're going to be way in the Discord. We got things we're announcing. I think are we doing an AMA today? Well, by the time this airs, it's not going to matter, right? Because this is going to air a couple days from now. So, but anyway, so we're going to be active, letting people know what's going on, what's coming next. We got new music coming very soon, like a lot of dope shit. And like I said, contests and some other stuff. We're going to start leveraging the talent pool. We'll have more information about that. By the time this airs, we probably will have already kind of shared some of that. So yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. What else you guys got? Anything else? Anything you guys are excited about? Projects? Anything y'all are involved with that we haven't covered? Like, what's up?
Paradise is coming.
Paradise Trippies, man.
Paradise Trippies coming at you.
Yeah, see, thank you, Braden. So you know, obviously that's spam for us. Like, and I just you know, I'm biased, but I'm on the whitelist and I'm excited for what they're doing. I think, you know, the PFP projects, as we are kind of segueing into this next phase, I think you really have to be able to distinguish yourself with like real value, utility, really good art, or something or community. You've got to do stuff that separates you from the pack, dropping a PFP project. And everything that these guys are doing so far, I think is super cool. You know, I got mad love. I mean, there's some Rabbit Hole Gang Squad team members like that are involved in that project. And I just think it's super dope. Like, and I saw a derivative piece somebody dropped today because they introduced the boogeyman. Did you see that with the, like, looks like the scarecrow with the bag and like the burlap and the trippies?
Yeah.
Pulled the thing. It was like the Scooby-Doo shit. And underneath was fucking Andy's trippy ape and shit. I was like, oh, that is dope. Like, and that was a community member doing that. You know what I mean? And that just, you know, so I think that's, you know, obviously all good and, you know, just super cool. So yeah.
Shout out to anything you can share with us about it?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, really great team. I'll say just some of the stuff they're doing on the, you know, kind of to JT's point about, you know, if you're doing a PFP project, you really have to do something different and innovate. They're really thinking outside of the box. I think they're going to really surprise the community with some of the stuff they have on the long-term roadmap. And they're doing some really neat community engagement stuff that I think people are going to like. And then, you know, just some of the most talented artists on the planet. And so it's like, you know, it's kind of like all those elements coming together is what can create the magic. Yep. And I think that's what will also create staying power as well.
And that's important, I think, is to come up with something innovative and, you know, create that magic. I know, you know, I don't know, Josh, I don't want to say, I know Josh is working on something that's pretty sick. So, but, you know,
working on a few things. Yeah. We're just, here it goes. I mean,
let's go.
It's taking some time. I'm definitely not rushing. We're finishing up some stuff on the site, getting the Discord in check, and then we'll start working on the community. But there's no, we haven't set like a mint day or anything like that. And we won't be setting any mint day until we're happy with kind of the community that we've built out.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a key piece, right? I mean, it's like, you've got to set the table to be able to have longevity, and it's like, you have to be able to move quickly enough and be agile enough to move. But, you know, you've got to have your shit together, because otherwise, you know, there's a lot of room for error, you know, and that's one thing.
I mean, as soon as you make one mistake, it gives the people that want to jump down your throat an opportunity to, you know, invade your Discord and.
Oh yeah, it's a ding on credibility, man. I mean,
so if you don't have your shit in line, just don't start until you do.
Yeah. Well, the good thing too, I mean, you've got now, I mean, between the projects and folks that are, you know, the team and extended family and whatnot, and it's like, you know, gives you a chance to really line things up properly. I think the idea is super dope. Like, anyway, I don't want to give too much. You got time, but you know, there's some exciting shit on the way there too.
I wanted to make a point on the Paradise thing, and I'm super pumped for Josh's project. Obviously, we have, you know, some inside knowledge of what's coming, and it's going to be dope. I think it's also unique. But on the Paradise thing, I think it's worth noting, like, you know, I would argue that a lot of their success is going to be based upon, I think a lot of this thing is going to, this whole market increasingly will be based upon trust and reputation. And as we say in the domain business, every single day when I'm selling big domain names, The reason you're paying hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to buy this domain name is because of the instantaneous trust with your clients. And so with Andy and team, shout out Shane, shout out James, shout out everybody involved in the project. Rolling out on paradise.com. I mean, that is just such a ridiculous domain. And so to roll out on paradise.com is, that's just a big move. And that's like, all right, nobody's doing a rug pull when there's a domain that's worth millions of dollars involved. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just instantaneous trust. And so I think that, shout out to them. Like that's a bold move. I love to see it. That's why we got the Ape-In.com for our thing, but obviously paradise.com is apples and oranges with Ape-In. Paradise.com, I mean, I love that name. That thing gets me excited. So,
but I mean, it's quite easy to switch over to paradiseisland.com at any point, right? If you're going to get a $2 million offer on the domain or whatnot, I think it's hard.
Yeah, sure. But there's
trying to make a move
very
to buy
strong
paradise.com, or you are
I'm just saying, I think that the domain still has a rather large future ahead of it that goes beyond NFT projects.
Look, he can definitely pull that domain, but I think to the outside world that doesn't understand that, I think there's a lot of credibility that comes with using that domain to launch.
Oh yeah, just here's the thing. We say it all the time too with domains. Like, everyone's like, oh, you should build that out. You should develop that. Drew, like if I talk too much about trying to develop domain names, like, that puts me on the short list to be shown the door. You know what I mean? Because, also not just the amount of time and effort that it takes to properly develop a site and a business, but it's like, but then that also anchors, if you're trying to sell a domain and it's being utilized for something, like, you're anchoring it there where a name like paradise.com, it's a risk for them to use it in a way that starts to, because if they did do some sort of a negative thing, right, and which is not going to happen, but if it did, then the name is tied to something that could give it a negative connotation when you're trying. And if you're talking about a multi-million-dollar asset, that's a lot of risk to take. So I think that even though it could be moved, I think it's still an enormous flex, and there's an enormous amount of trust that needs to be placed on the fact that they're using it in the first place, because if they didn't believe it, they wouldn't use it. Connect as the Twitter handle. I mean, just the digital, like, sort of properties alone, the digital assets that they're using in conjunction with the property are fucking incredible. And and the art, like, Rio Dart. I don't know. I never say the dude's name right, but
Rui Duarte.
Yeah, he's badass. The shit is dope. They've got some really cool, funky shit they're doing. Anyway, so big shout out to them. Obviously excited for their success and for what's to come. Like I said, full disclosure, we're friends with them, and I am on the white list. So let's get it. I got my ticket to paradise, and let's go. But so that's what's up. So anyway, we are out of time. This has been great. We got a lot more to come. We could talk for hours. This is what we do. We're going to get off this call and end up talking about NFTs. It's basically the same shit. We're going to just keep it moving.
I just want to point out one thing. So Morgan over here, who is on the DL, is helping out a whole bunch of projects. So he's in the know, but not saying anything, but he's in so many projects.
I'm keeping my lips sealed here.
Well,
Switzerland over here.
He is Switzerland, man. And I'll tell you, working with
literally involved.
I'm a lover of people.
He's on so many teams right now.
Not a fighter.
In addition to domaining, in addition to running bold metrics, which by the way is also going to be involved in the metaverse. He hasn't talked about that yet.
I was going to say, yeah, Braden's one of our board members. Also, Braden knows all the DL stuff that we're doing at Bold with NFTs.
Well, I mean, the thing about Bold that is like, the reason I shout you out is Mark Cuban. I mean, your first private equity check or your first investment check was Mark Cuban wrote it, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Mark and then Braden.
Yeah. See, look at that, Mark. It's just like, and see, so you started here and you then went right up. You know what I mean? You went from there to there. Awesome. And
started from the bottom, now we're here.
Morgan, you should tell the Paradise guys that they need to get a cameo from Island Boys.
Ooh. I'm an island boy. I'm just trying to make it.
I don't know if they're like.
I feel like it matches so well with Paradise. With
Who does the one-way ticket to paradise? Is that Jimmy Buffett or who does that shit? Like,
no, but who are they
you
still
get Jimmy
culturally
Buffett, though.
relevant?
What?
I mean, they just need to know.
I feel like Island Boys were like they went straight up and then straight down. That was like a rug pull. Island Boys was a rug pull.
You know, the 5 minutes of fame was like literally 5 minutes for them.
5 minutes. Hey, that's okay. You know, it was 15 minutes. They only got 5, but it's typically 15.
I heard they're in the Ape-In talent pool.
Dude, hey, if they are, then they may have a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what's up, man. We're all about like, hey, the cream will rise to the top. I mean, that's one thing that I think is amazing about our community. I mean, you know, the talent pool is for the apes. So for the apes to be utilized for the different stuff that we got going on. But, you know, part of the other side of our community and where the value is like, we're going to have all sorts of different apes got talent and different things for people to show what they've got. And if people are, you know, and if they're good, then they're going to get noticed. They're going to get, you know, access to an audience they wouldn't otherwise have in a way that they wouldn't otherwise get. So, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, people that are dropping bars and little tracks and stuff in our Discord, I'm listening to that shit. I'm like, man, there's some really talented people that are in the mix. And, you know, this will hopefully, you know, give them a little bit of a shot.
If you produce a track
with Island Boys,
with Island Boys using Andy's ape, I will buy the rest of your mints right now.
Heard it first here.
Yo, let's go.
Yo, we should do that.
But who does the one? Who does
that'd be a super
who does the two? Who does the 2 tickets to paradise song? Do I have to Google this?
Like, I was gonna say, who does that song? You don't know the song, right? Or I guess if you're old, you know the song.
It's like it's Eddie Money. Is that really Eddie Money that did that?
I'm not old enough to know.
That's what I was gonna say. We all know because we're old. Jess is like, I have no idea what that
I know it from memes. That's it.
And then who does Paradise by the Dashboard Light? Is that Meatloaf or what's that? Like, who's that?
See, I don't know that song. I just know
never heard that in my life.
Tickets to Paradise.
I lose credibility.
Yeah, that's Meatloaf.
It's Paradise.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light is a track too, as well. And you know, so anyway, so they got some stuff that they could leverage for the old heads. Bring the baby boomers into the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. You know, that's good. Let's put the you know, let's divest from the blue chip stocks and take it out of Ford and put it into Paradise Trippies, man. Let's do this. And anyway, all right. Well, look, this has been fun as always, guys. We are about to wrap up. We are recording here on Friday. We're going to release probably Monday, Tuesday at the latest. So just to give you guys a sense of when we're talking and when you're listening. And so I appreciate all y'all. Thank you to my co-host for being here today. Always a pleasure, always fun. And as I say in every show, thank you to the audience. Without you, there is no us. We're here doing our thing. Reach out to us. You know, you can find us on Twitter. You can hit us up on the DomainSherpa comments on any of the podcasts. And obviously with Ape-In, get at us in the Discord. Like, we are active, we are around, we are in the mix, and we're all having a blast. So let's go. Apes together strong. Appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all next time here on DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Down the rabbit hole with the rabbit hole gang. Rabbit hole gang, make the joint go bang. Going ape shit, doing ape shit. You know what it is. We all gonna make it. Let's go. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
It don't matter what you do, I will.